proved that she is actually tied closely by family ties to the former leader of the Malawi Congress Party, which is the ruling party currently. And also the conduct of the chief elections officer himself, a known, I wouldn't say sympathizer, but his allegiances are widely perceived to be closely aligned to the ruling Malawi Congress Party.
South Africa's Democratic Alliance Party has welcomed the reopening of the inquest into the death of anti-apartheid activist Steve Biko. Nearly 5 decades after Biko's death, the National Prosecuting Authority is set to reopen the inquest into the circumstances surrounding his death while in police custody. The inquest will be officially enrolled today, exactly 48 years since Biko's death on the 12th of September in 1977. DA Federal Chairperson Helen Ziller.
We all know as a fact that he did not die of hunger strike. We know that he died of brain damage, and that has been medically established. Then, during the course of the inquest, Sidney Kentridge was the QC. He was the senior counsel who was extracting from the policemen that were on duty and others who had had interactions with Steve Biko in his last days, that there had been what they called a scuffle and that his head had been hit in the process. There is a lot of information that needs to be collated, needs to be analyzed, and needs to be evaluated properly by an objective court of law.
Thabo Bester's attorney, Courage Morero, says it cannot be assumed that the South African rapist and murderer escaped from the Mangaung prison in the Free State province. Bester and Dr. Nandi Pamakutumana lost the urgent bid to prevent Netflix from airing the 3-part documentary Beauty and the Bester at the High Court in Pretoria with costs. Speaking just after the ruling, Morero says the alleged escape is yet to be proven when the matter goes on trial.
And we're saying we cannot be allowed to make pronouncements on issues that are before a court that are yet to be tested, where evidence is yet to be led, where even a plea is yet to be entered.
And finally, Qatar has welcomed the unanimous condemnation by members of the UN Security Council of Israel's airstrike on the Qatari capital Doha on Tuesday. At an emergency meeting of the UN Security Council earlier this week, the Qatari Prime Minister described Israel's leaders as bloodthirsty extremists, but said Qatar remained committed to its diplomatic role to help end the conflict in Gaza. US President Donald Trump was angered by the attack on Doha, which targeted senior Hamas officials based there. For any news stories you would like to share with us, please do send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +27 11 714 4459. For Channel Africa News, I'm Jolani Tulongwebe.
SABC News. The African Perspective.
It is 6 minutes after 1 p.m. Central African Time. Welcome to The Upside, your gateway to the good life on Channel Africa, The African Perspective, with Tebogo Lekhuleni and Mmatsheko Mosito. It's a happy Friday to you and yours. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. And we are broadcasting live from the Auckland Park Studios in sunny, hot Johannesburg, South Africa. And you can catch us live on our social media platforms at Channel Africa on Facebook and YouTube, and at Channel Africa 1 on TikTok. On DSTV, it's channel 802. 802. Yeah, 802.
I don't know.
Open View
I
channel
can't help you.
628. And as always, you can go to www.channelafrica.co.za so you can stream us live and also catch up on the podcasts from our show and the other shows as well. It's a good afternoon to you, Mmatsheko Mosito. How are you doing? I see we are wearing our shorts today as we committed.
Shorty Friday. Listen, this could actually be a thing.
International Shorts Day.
International
on Channel Africa.
Shorts Day as declared by the president of International Shorts Day, Tebogo Lekhuleni.
Yes.
And I'm here for it. I feel great. It is hot. It's not just sunny. Listen, it's hot.
It is hot.
So I wouldn't have survived any other kind of outfit. So let's just show the legs.
Yes, show the
legs.
Oh, Lulu was disappointed that we didn't remind her yesterday.
Are we going to make sure?
We're going to make sure next week that on a Friday, you wear your shorts. Wear your shorts. Celebrate. It's a warm season now. It's a properly hot, not warm, properly hot season. Show them legs. Here's what's coming up on the upside this afternoon. Our first conversation is going to be about Hostex 2026, which is opening up new doors for small business and with a revamped SMME pavilion. We'll find out a bit more about that one. And then later on, we'll be getting into conversation about influencers and getting international opportunities, right? In light of the recent scandals with international opportunities, how can we go about doing this in a safe way and ensure that we don't get exploited and we don't mislead our followers on our social media platforms, because influencers really have an important job now. They are the voice of reason, and we need to be able to trust them and ensure that we don't put ourselves at risks when we join in on their programs, right? It's going to be an interesting conversation. That's all coming up. And then we've got our DJ mix coming up later on as well. It's a Friday. There's some music. We are in shorts. We're having a good time. The weekend is upon us. What are you getting up to this weekend, by the way, before we officially welcome you to the show?
So I have a friend who's bought a new property. And this
congratulations.
Property, yes. And this
deal.
property has a pool. So chances are we're going to be in that pool the whole weekend.
They bought the property, or did they build the property?
Well, she bought an existing property.
An existing property with a pool.
And it's got a beautiful pool.
Where
listen,
where is this?
It's in Johannesburg.
Okay.
So we're going to be in that pool. Best you believe that, amongst other wonderful things. But I think that's probably one of the most important things. Also, I will be planting the seed on Channel Africa on Sunday between 12 and 2. So just in case that's a show you haven't given a chance to, we go beyond agriculture. It really is about regenerative futures. So tune into that show. We've got some wonderful guests, people in leadership positions that are taking this world to the next level. So I'm very excited about that. That's what I'll be doing. Are we game driving this weekend?
Oh, love it. I'll be in the Limpopo region this weekend, Bila to be precise.
Nice.
To check out a beautiful, like a 6-bedroom house with a massive swimming pool. I can't wait for that one. It's gonna be a swimming weekend. It's hot.
Actually,
I know it's hot.
Actually.
It's 10 minutes after 1 p.m. Central African time. Welcome to the Upside.
Get Channel Africa on DSTV Audio Bouquet. Channel 802.
Nkhanza zokhudza amuna ndi azimayi kapena kuti gender based violence GBV zikuononga mioyo komanso kuphwasula mizi. Zikuchitika m'manyumba, m'masukulu, malo ogwirira ntchito ndipo kwambiri mwakachetechete. Koma sizikuyenera kupitirira. Mukazimva yankhulani. Ngati mwakhuzidwa funani chithandizo. Chifukwa kusachita chilichonse sikuthandiza. Mverani kuma wireless onse 10 asanu ndi anayi a SABC kuchokera lachitatu pa 23 mwezi uno wa Julai kuti mumve zokambirana, malangizo, masewero, zionesero za maphunziro ndi mafunso okhuza nkhanza za amuna ndi azimayi ndi akatswiri, anthu opulumuka ku nkhanzazi, kukhazikitsa lamulo komanso dziko lonse lokhuzidwa ndi nkhanzazi. Zonsezi pa wireless yomwe mumayikonda ya SABC. imbirani pa nambala 0800 428 428 kuti munene za nkhanzazi kapena kupeza chithandizo. Nkhanza zokhuza amuna ndi azimayi zimatha ndi inu. Uthenga ukufikani kuchokera ku SABC.
Zilipendwa na Abedi Jean de la Croix.
Wewe ni mjasiriamali unajihusisha na biashara ya kuuza dawa. Jaribu kutuambia kwanza, kwa nini ulianzisha biashara hiyo?
Tutasema kwamba maisha ya kila siku ni kwamba mtu anapashwa kuwa na maisha ya kuweza kujitegemea. Usitegemee kuajiriwa, lakini utegemee kujiajiri, na baadaye utaweza ukaajiri wengine. Na hiyo ilinipa msukumo mkubwa kwa kuweza kujiajiri na kampuni hii kwa ajili ya kuweza kuwasaidia wale ambao wanahangaika zaidi.
Unauza aina gani ya dawa?
Unasema ni dawa, lakini kwetu sisi tunaita kama vile ni pipi, ambayo ni virutubisho ambavyo vinakwenda kusaidia kwa wale ambao wanatatizwa na aina tofauti ya magonjwa.
Virutubisho hivyo sasa vinatibu magonjwa gani?
Virutubisho hivi vinatunza magonjwa kama vile ya kisukari, shinikizo la damu.
Zilipendwa kila Jumamosi kuanzia saa 12 kamili majira ya Afrika ya Kati hadi saa 1 kamili majira ya Afrika ya Kati.
The Upside. On the Upside, your voice matters. Get the news, music, and lifestyle of Africa on Channel Africa, the African perspective. The Upside, live and real.
One woman that I feel she should like have her own festival, and one that moves through different places on the African continent, because she is that divinely gifted. She moves from genre to genre. She's one of those artists that has actually broken this thing of genres. Like, you know, she colors outside the lines whenever she feels called to, and it always works because she's aligned with, you know, she's led by the music, not the other way around. You've got to, if you jazz, you've got to, you know, stick to that. I mean, her double album is one of my favorites, released in, I think it was the year 2021, when she released a double album where she worked with some prominent house music DJs on the one end, and then the other side she does sort of very kind of unplugged, just some sake and the guitar, and worked with some wonderful producers there as well. But the other one is very house flavored, kind of like the sound we're hearing in this particular song titled Uboma Bumanga. But she's that artist. What's the album called? Actually, as I'm talking, I'm trying to jog my memory. Platinum Heart Open is the one that's Msaki and her guitar. Platinum Heart Beat. Platinum Heart, beautiful cover with her lying on some white beach sand. Platinum Heart Beat is this one that's got like the really good house music. You're where she works with people like Kabza the Small and other really popular DJs and producers. So she's that girl, she's that queen, and we love her.
I just love her voice. There's something so captivating about her voice whenever she sings.
And even her speaking voice, hey, even when she just speaks, she's just like, oh, speak some more.
Another level.
What was that?
Oh, another level. And before that, we had Voga by Oscar Mbo and Jazz Works. It's 25 minutes after 1 p.m. Central African time. Let's take a quick breather. When we get back, we'll do a little vent. Just a little one, not a big one.
Channel Africa, your voice, your sound, and your home. Stay logged right here. Africa, meet Abedi.
Yeah, that's me.
Abedi is a music lover through and through.
I really love African music.
He's got a taste for all kinds of tunes and spends his days listening to Channel Africa. Guess what? He didn't know.
Okay.
Channel Africa wants to help Abedi and all music lovers everywhere to discover even more incredible music. That is why Channel Africa is calling on all African musicians to submit their music. Musicians, remember to give us all your relevant information. Make your submissions at music@channelafrica.co.za. Submissions are your chance to be heard on radio. But sadly, they do not guarantee that you'll be playlisted. All submissions will be carefully reviewed to see if they meet our station's requirement. Channel Africa, the African perspective. The Upside, 1 to 4 p.m. Central African Time. With Tebogo Lekhuleni and Mmatsheko Mosito. Only on Channel Africa, the African perspective.
Well, this is indeed the Upside on Channel Africa, your gateway to the good life. I have a small vent. It's tiny vent. You know when you go to a restaurant, right?
Okay.
And you're eating, enjoying your food. It's delicious. I don't know who trained the waiters to approach you while you've got food in your mouth to ask you how is it going. How's the food? I've got my food in my mouth. You can see my face is stuffed. And you choose that precise moment to come to me and ask, oh, sir, how's it going? How are you enjoying your food? It's like right now, if I were to ask Unsaka, our producer, how's the food going? She's eating now. Wrong time. Wrong time to be asking someone how the food is going. You are eating. Can you just let me eat in peace? Allow me to swallow it first. And then ask me. Am I the only one who gets frustrated about these things?
That sounds legitimate. Like, I also don't like that, actually, because just timing is everything with these types of things. Exactly. The least you can do is just wait 30 seconds, for me to chew and swallow and then approach and ask.
Exactly.
I guess that's legitimate. I actually have a similar request. Can we just be left in peace? Yeah, just to eat our food. Or I don't know how else it can be done where it's both comfortable for the people that are providing the service and the Patreons. Because currently, as it is, and sometimes the manager also comes to the table and asks you how your experience is. I mean, sometimes it's really unnecessary. It's not necessary.
Leave us alone.
Can you imagine? Like there are people that eat those horrible little creatures from the sea called oysters.
Oysters, yes.
Imagine being mid-oyster and there they are. You're gonna choke on that thing, I can tell you for free.
And they're like, how's it going? How's the food? Calm down. Waiters in the hospitality space, please choose your moment. When we are chewing, that's not the moment to ask me how the food is going. So I saw a video on TikTok. There's a black guy, right, of African descent, and he's in Asia, and he's singing in Chinese. Right, in the videos, he's singing in Chinese, and it's brilliant, beautiful. But in the comment sections, people are gonna go.
That's often more entertaining than the video itself.
Yeah, absolutely. Because why did I see some comments like from 50 cent to 50 yuan?
Wow!
Please,
I need to see this video.
Please come back home. Who else said, "Come back home, bro? Dad's not angry no more." Can you just let people
be? From 50 cents to 51. Listen, that one deserves an award. Wow.
Anyway, it's 30 minutes after 1 p.m. Central African time. Let's get the latest in sports. Figile Lungwati is standing by.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African perspective.
And in our sports update, guys, we start off with rugby news. Springbok captain Siya Kolisi quashed talks of putting his side through the ringer to try to beat New Zealand in round 4 of the Rugby Championship in Wellington on Saturday morning. Kolisi has been a part of many incredible Springbok victories, but he stressed that the preparations are always the same, regardless of the opponent or the occasion. The Springboks need to win to stay in contention to defend their Rugby Championship title and retain the Freedom Cup as well. The Bok captain's years of experience have been called upon to reiterate that while the side is desperate for the win, they can't practice any harder to achieve their goals.
It's the same as you play in a World Cup final. You don't do preparations different to any game. You prepare exactly the same. I mean, so nothing has changed our way. We know how much pressure there is in the game already, so we don't need to add any more. So we've prepared properly, having Sasha take charge of the team, and obviously Ruan and Lord taking care of the line-out, but nothing has been done that's special or out of the norm that we've done, because we've never done anything different to any game that we've won before or any big game that we've played in.
Kolisi says this game against New Zealand is important for many reasons, including being a rite of passage for touring Bok sides, where an away win to the All Blacks can provide previously unknown levels of confidence in future matches.
We want to win and stay in the Rugby Championship. Also, there's the Freedom Cup in there, but I think also for these guys that are getting the opportunity for the first time here in New Zealand to also be able to get an opportunity like this, and also to feel what it feels like to win on tour. And I think that will give the guys a lot of confidence. And I think a lot of group had done it before. So yeah, it's a different game, but it's important as well in many different ways.
On to football news. The Total Energies CAF Africa Cup of Nations 2025 will kick off in Morocco in exactly 100 days, bringing together passionate fans from across the continent and showcasing Africa's football excellence to the world. Africa's biggest sporting event is expected to break the record set by the hugely successful 2023 edition in Côte d'Ivoire, which attracted a global television audience of over 1.5 billion and more than 2.4 billion digital streams. Morocco will play host to the continental finals for the first time since 1988 and will provide world-class facilities for the 24-team tournament that runs from the 21st of December 2025 to the 18th of January 2026, where Côte d'Ivoire will defend their title. The finals will be played in 9 stadiums across 6 cities: Rabat, Casablanca, Fez, Tangier, Marrakesh, and Agadir. On to athletics. Ethiopian middle distance runner Diribe Welteji will miss the World Athletics Championships after a request for her provisional suspension by the Athletics Integrity Unit while a doping case is heard was upheld by the Court of Arbitration for Sport today. The 23-year-old, who won silver in the 1,500 meters at the last World Championships in Budapest 2 years ago, was cleared of a charge of failing or refusing to submit a doping sample by the Ethiopian Anti-Doping Authority in late August. The AIU appealed to CAS and said on Thursday it had requested Welteji be ineligible to compete until the matter was adjudicated. Welteji was scheduled to run in the women's 1,500-meter heats at Tokyo's National Stadium on Saturday. Let's end with golf news. The first CEO of Live Golf, Greg Norman, has officially moved on from the Saudi-backed tour. 70-year-old Norman was the original CEO when the Upstart Golf League launched in 2021 and was involved in recruiting several high-profile players from the PGA Tour and European circuit. He was replaced as the CEO and commissioner by Scott O'Neill in January. For any sports stories you'd like to share with us, please send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +2711 714 4459. This is Channel Africa Sport with me, Figile Ngwadi.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African Perspective. In this episode of Channel Africa Conversations, Peter talks to Dr. Thulisile Buddha, an academic, author, and an expert in indigenous knowledge systems. Join us for a compelling discussion on preserving African languages and traditions in the digital era. Dr. Thulisile unpacks the role of educators, explorers, and how technologies like AI can support cultural preservation, and challenges us to rethink how we honor African heritage. You can find the episode on YouTube, SABC Plus, and on our website, channelafrica.co.za. This episode is a must-listen for educators, creators, and change makers across the continent. Channel Africa, the African Perspective. No matter where you are, Channel Africa is always with you.
35 minutes after 1 p.m. Central African Time. Let's get the latest in business news. Nosipo Zuma is standing by.
Business news on Channel Africa. The African Perspective.
Thank you, Tebogo. Good afternoon. In your business news, the SAWA, South Africa's National Treasury, pointed out that unfunded budget is one of the key factors affecting the finances of municipalities and their abilities to pay their debt. The National Treasury briefed the Standing Committee on the Auditor General on interventions to collect outstanding money owed to the Auditor General. An unfunded budget refers to planned expenditures or projects that included in the municipal budget but do not have the confirmed funding sources. The Accountant General in the National Assembly, or in the National Treasury rather, Shabir Khan, says his office has identified one of the causes of this debt.
There is an underlying issue which we see in most of the municipalities. You'll see in the first bullet or the first sub-bullet that we've already been engaging many municipalities on unfunded budgets, because this is really the root cause in municipalities not being able to pay their creditors timelessly or not being able to deliver important services as required.
A study by Worldwide Works in collaboration with MasterCard, Peach Payments and Ask Africa has revealed that South Africa's online retail turnover is expected to top $7.42 billion this year and account for 10% of total retail sales. This would be driven by on-demand grocery and fashion, as well as the entry of global competitors such as Amazon. Online retail sales grew by around 35% in 2024. To an estimated $5 billion, accounted for roughly 8% of all retail trade in South Africa. Burkina Faso has introduced visa-free entry for all African travelers in an effort to facilitate the movement of people and goods into the country. The decision was announced following a cabinet meeting chaired by military leader Ibrahim Traoré. African visitors will, however, be required to submit an online visa application, which will be reviewed for approval. The West African nation joins countries such as Ghana, Rwanda and Kenya, which have eased travel requirements for African visitors. The Lekhuleni Immigrants Impact Awards AIIA is set to host the Immigration 20 Summit next month to amplify the voices of immigrants and refugees in global policy dialogues. AIIA says immigration needs to be positioned as a catalyst for economic growth, social cohesion, and sustainable development within the G20 framework. Co-owner of Lekhuleni Immigrants Impact Awards, Tebogo Nwanjang, explains the value of the gathering.
The reason why for us this gathering is important is to showcase, first of all, the value of migration. I mean, if you look at the G20 member states, the migrants contribute almost about $6.4 trillion to GDP. If you were to look at the number of entrepreneurs and CEOs that are from third world countries that are leading corporations in G20 member states, almost about 80% of the CEOs that sit at the top 100 companies in the world are from migrant nations.
Oil prices have held steady today as concerns about oversupply and weakening U.S. demand offset the risk of supply disruptions stemming from conflicts in the Middle East and Ukraine. Now, Brent futures or crude futures rode 11 U.S. cents to $66.49 a barrel, and U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude rose 4 cents to $62.41. Brent and WTI benchmarks fell 1.7% and 2% respectively on Thursday. Your financial indicators: $1 in Nigeria is trading at 1,506. In Botswana is 13.26. Kenya, the dollar is trading at 128 shilling 39, and in Zambia it's 24.08. The BRICS countries: $1 in Brazil is trading at 5 real 40. Russia is 84 rubles 33. India is 84 rupees 68. China at 7 yuan 12, and in South Africa $1 is trading at 17 rand 45. $1 is trading at 74 pence to the British pound and 85 to the euro. Looking at commodities, gold is trading at $3,626 and platinum at $1,378 per ounce. The price of Brent crude oil is at $67.20 a barrel. Now, for any business news stories you would like to share with us, please send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +27 11 714 4459. For Channel Africa Business, I'm Mosito Suma.
Business news on Channel Africa. The African perspective. We take no sides, none whatsoever. We are the upside.
Shake your bakasi, they shake your bakasi. Obviously, nobody they lose got illegally. No, never know but you na sabes na so it be hi bi. Better dance, better dance, better dance, better dance, better dance. Rocky Malafi, Champs-Élysées, juste des Lamborghini. So côté body, la nefatiti, she very mighty with the bagasi. On a this baby, on a batiti, and she want to tell me if it not be me. Everybody dance, everybody dance, everybody dance, everybody dance, everybody dance. Everybody dance, everybody dance, everybody dance, everybody dance. Kelebu, 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 kelebu. Madam, 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 kelebu, 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 kelebu. Madam, 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 madam.
44 minutes after 1 p.m. Central African Time. Kelebu de by Rema. Beautiful music coming to you on this beautiful Friday. It's a hot Friday in Johannesburg, South Africa. Happy Friday, happy Friday to you and yours. And thank you so much for joining us on The Upside, your gateway to the good life. Hostex. Have you ever heard of the Hostex events? Have you ever been to a Hostex event? Mmatsheko, are you familiar with the Hostexes?
Listen, we're gonna find out more about it.
Have you been? You haven't been to a
No,
Hostex?
not.
Okay.
Although I'm very excited to discover what they're about.
Love Hostex. I love events like these. Hostex, Africa's biggest hospitality and food trade expo, is celebrating 40 years in 2026 with exciting changes. One of the biggest is the newly expanded SMME Pavilion, which opens new doors for small businesses across the continent. Joining us now is Lerato Nako, event manager at Hostex. Lerato, thank you so much for your time. Welcome to The Upside. You know, Hostex has always been known as a connector in the hospitality and food space. And for people like maybe Mmatsheko, who may not necessarily know what Hostex is all about, paint a picture for us of what people can expect at a Hostex event.
Good afternoon to the team, studio, and to your listeners. I'm a foodie. I love going on holiday, don't we all? And that's what Hostex. And that's what Hostex is. Hostex is a hospitality, food, and drinks trade show. It's a B2B. So I always simplify it. I simplify that. If you a Southern Sun or Zoka Sun, free plugs to some hotel chains. Apologies. I hope it's okay. Or even a small B&B in Soweto, or you're running your side business of Airbnb and you're kitting up your place. You want to come to Hostex to go shop and make sure that your hospitality is on point for visitors that do come to your establishments. Or in without going too much into details, that's who Hostex is. It's for people to come and shop and make sure that when you are in those crispy white linen in the bed and you're having a relaxed time, people shop at Hostex for those items.
That sounds very exciting, Lerato. Really does.
Yeah.
But also, anything to do with tourism and shopping in one sentence makes me excited. But let's talk about, let's get in depth about how this can benefit the small businesses, as you mentioned, because using South African example as an example, it's no longer just a big business economy. We've got small businesses that are becoming the backbone of our economy, particularly in the space of hospitality and tourism, etc. So talk to us about the role that Hostex plays in creating jobs, in driving innovation within these sectors.
You're speaking to my heart, and I'm proud to say that's one of the things that I wanted to introduce as the event manager at Hostex. Stats that were released by SA Tourism and Stats SA last year said SMMEs contribute 8.8% to our GDP. And the hospitality industry hires 720,000 jobs by 2034. And you can equal it to a lot of that will come from SMME. I always make an example that Lerato is doing her little achar, but it's restaurant ready. Where does she go to get the likes of a famous brand to have Lerato's achar at an ocean basket, at a Tasha's, because it's a really bespoke, or even a pantry store down Rosebank? Where do you find these things? And we are saying SMMEs must come on board, and people that go through Hostex and visit it have buying power. We want to open that door to give access to market for SMMEs that are doing amazing things. You look at beverage and you look at the gin industry in our country and how people are really doing amazing things. You look at stories of people brewing beer and how they get into market. Unfortunately, historically, it's always been B2B at big corporates who have deep pockets. And the way we've modeled it is that we've cushioned the cost for an exhibitor to come on board. But I'm also intentional about also finding partnerships that will help costs lower. And we would like to incubate people. So as they get access into market, we've done an ecosystem where they will be very close to financial institutions that will assist them in making sure that they can scale their business without having to say, okay, now I've got Pick and Pay ordering. But Pick and Pay doesn't order in 12 units, it's pallets. Where does this person find the funding? How do they get mentored to make sure that they get to Lerato's, who's a big dreamer and now has Acha all over the show? And honestly, I believe, I love the intro to say that is our future from SMMEs, and our people are really inventive, and we just want to be in that playing field where we open doors for those markets and for those producers.
I love that. It's 9 minutes before 2 p.m. Central African time. We're talking all things Hostex 2026, celebrating 40 years with the newly introduced, revamped SMME Pavilion. And we'll find out a bit more about it right after this.
Darubini ya Afrika na I am Henry Shakif.
Hawa wa Afrika Kusini wenye asili ya kizungu ambao wamepewa ukimbizi huko nchini Marekani. Je, nini chanzo cha wao kuomba ukimbizi nchini Marekani?
Wenyewe hawajaomba ukimbizi. Kuna shirika fulani inaitwa AfriForum, shirika mbili za wazungu ambao wanatetea haki ya wazungu hapa, AfriForum na Solidarity. Hao walienda Marekani kufanya kampeni kusema kwamba wazungu wananyanyaswa hapa Afrika Kusini, na walivyofanya hiyo kampeni, serikali iweza kuwafuatilia kujua nini ambacho mnasema kwamba mnanyanyaswa.
Kuna namna ya wao kwamba wamepoteza uraia wa Afrika Kusini, na je, endapo Trump akamaliza muda wake madarakani, uhalali wao wa kuishi nchini Marekani ukoje?
Itakuwa vigumu, kifupi itakuwa vigumu wenyewe kupoteza uraia wao.
Darubini ya Afrika 11 kamili hadi 12 kamili majira ya Afrika ya Kati.
The Upside with Tebogo Lekhuleni and Mosito, bringing Africa's voices to the world on Channel Africa, the African perspective.
Well, let's get back into our conversation with Lerato Nako, event manager at Hostex. Hostex 2026 next year will be celebrating 40 years, and they're highlighting the SMME industry and giving them a platform with their SMME Pavilion, which has been revamped. Lerato, let's talk about visibility at such big events, especially for SMMEs. I've had the privilege of hosting and emceeing at quite a lot of these food style events, and one of the common issues that vendors and small SMMEs have raised was the fact that they're not visible. The space is so big, the flow of traffic always goes to the bigger stores, the bigger stands, and the small ones hardly get traction. And they feel that, oh, I've paid so much money to be at this event and it did not pay dividends. So walk us through what they can expect as SMMEs from a visibility point of view.
I think you raise a very important concern about a lot of people that put their really hard-earned money to get business back, because you do trade shows because you have a return on investment outlook. I think my key was to say the traffic flow. So where they are positioned, they're positioned where everybody who exits the room, SMMEs will be the last people that get seen. It's around a lounge area that's being provided for all exhibitors as well as all our visitors. So when somebody wants to go have a quick meeting, the lounge surrounds where all the SMMEs were. So it was really well thought of. In terms of the design I've done for all the SMMEs of the pavilion, we've made it sure that you don't stand alone like a small stand, but you stand out because you are in a group. And that's why the approach of going towards a pavilion versus being an island in a big sea of people with huge muscles, and like I put it, with big pockets. The design is very slick. It will help you display your products nicely. It will give you everything you need to have to make sure that you stand out. But of course, like I said, I've positioned it in such a way that people cannot leave the show without having gone past the area. So, there was some thought into the positioning on the floor.
I think because we're talking about a 40-year legacy here, Lerato, 2026 means that you are going to be turning 40, which is a big deal.
Yes.
How does this then fit into your your expansion for SMMEs and this particular pavilion, and how then that's going to open doors for small businesses continentally?
I think the biggest thing that we are saying, I'll give you an example. One of the head of procurements at Four Seasons globally was a visitor at the trade show in 2024. And one product he was looking for Four Seasons Global, not the one here by Saxon, he was looking for ethnic hair shampoo and amenities and hair conditioning. So we are saying at a global level, we have people that get commissioned by the likes of the Hilton, by the likes of the Radissons, to say, go look for unique products. And not just to the African continent, but to the globe. Find them for us. And we therefore encourage SMMEs to come on board. What's also important is that we've also done a criteria. Like I said, it is funded. So you pay 30% less than everybody else as an SMME. We do have a criteria on how you qualify, and we'll incubate you for 2 shows to make sure that we hold you and open those doors for you. You know, it's not like a one trial and you miss it. We also look at pairing you up with people that will help you gain that access. I had the privilege this week to go visit electrical engineer gentleman. He started in a garage and his staff was in the cottage, and he actually manufactures proudly South African coffee machines that have IoT systems that actually train barristers. He now employs 12 people. And I want to make sure that we give access to those type of people to provide to the likes of a Seattle Coffee, that every time you go grab your cup of coffee, it's not necessarily a brand. Listen, I love my Italian brands out there, but I'm saying we have amazing engineers that even have an ecosystem that says the boiler system that fits into the machine is done by boys that are boiler makers. So he's not trying to manufacture everything. The chipboard that goes into the machine is being produced by people in Khayelitsha. And there's so many beautiful stories that we can take out there, and I can't wait to open these doors. So it's not even the final product on the floor, but it's that Khayelitsha chipboard business that provides computing for the machine. You know, it's not just 12 people. If you think about an ecosystem of just the machine, the numbers, you can believe when we say by 2034, this sector will employ 720,000 people.
I love the support structure in place at this Hostex and your vision for it. And I want to know, for those who'd like to, apply, a supplier would like to be, or an SMME would like to be a part of this journey, where can they go?
Okay, please visit our website, www.hostex.co.za. I think that would be the easiest. But in terms of who's eligible, you need to be CIPC registered, you need to be tax compliant, you need to be operating within the food and the beverage. And when I say hospitality, I mean from tech, I mean from Uber deliveries, e-hailing apps that people are developing. If you can touch point the tourism industry, please make contact with us. You need to be a majority shareholder in terms of an owner. At least your pilot phase, so that then you can network with people that will take you to the next level. And show a solid business model and be willing to engage with mentorship, because that's what we've kind of incubated into Hostex, that opening doors of the new.
And security at the University of Juba, Abraham Nuon, has called on the international community to place the needs of citizens ahead of individual leadership. This comes as First Vice President of South Sudan, Riek Machar, is being charged with murder, treason and crimes against humanity. It is feared that this could reignite the country's civil war. The charges relate to an attack in March by a militia allegedly linked to Machar. The Vice President has been under house arrest since March. Nuon elaborates.
At this point, it is necessary that the international community, the regional institutions, and the president and the competent judges, the civil society, need to draw a line where whatever which is going to be done, as I said before, should not only about promoting the right of individual leaders at the expense of making the citizen to suffer. At the same time, it should not be an expense of punishing these leaders at expense of other people to maybe exert more power because they have the privilege of having the power.
Concerns over the credibility of Malawi's upcoming general elections have been raised by a senior official from Human Rights Watch. Speaking during a webinar that looked into the election preparations scheduled for next week Tuesday, senior researcher Idris Nasser casted doubt on the impartiality of the Malawi Electoral Commission's leadership. Nasser pointed to perceived political alignments of both MEC chairperson Justice Mdalimanja and the chief elections officer, suggesting their alleged ties to the ruling Malawi Congress Party could undermine public confidence in the electoral process ahead of the September 16th vote.
Justice Mdalimanja is perceived to be closely aligned, either by family relations or by her own conduct, to the ruling Malawi Congress Party. There are allegations, some of them have to be proved, that she is actually tied closely by family ties to the former leader of the Malawi Congress Party, which is the ruling party currently. And also the conduct of the chief elections officer himself, a known, I wouldn't say sympathizer, but his allegiances are widely perceived to be closely aligned to the ruling Malawi Congress Party.
The inquest into the death of South African anti-apartheid activist Steve Biko has been postponed to the 12th of November for case management in the High Court in Gqeberha in the Eastern Cape province. The reopening comes exactly 48 years after Biko died in police custody on the 12th of September in 1977. Biko was allegedly tortured by the apartheid regime's special branch. The state has confirmed that 2 persons of interest are still alive. The Biko family says today's date was chosen for its historic significance. Cultural expert Gugu Mmatsheko says South Africa's constitutional court judgment that allows men to take their wives' surnames undermines African values. Yesterday, the court declared sections of the Births and Deaths Registration Act unconstitutional for unfairly preventing men from taking their wives' surnames. The decision marks a watershed moment in South Africa's history, as men now have the option to carry their wife's last name. Tebogo says the court did not consider the complexities of African families.
This can cause a lot of damage and tensions in families because you find that the clan name, they carry a lot of histories, especially when a female is getting married to a particular clan. There are naming ceremonies that are involved. That particular clan name, it is coming from the name of the ancestor in that family or his praised name. So when that is taken away, it will cause a lot of challenges.
And finally, negotiations are continuing between the military leadership in Nepal and members of the Gen Z protest movement on who should be the interim head of government following the resignation of Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli. The BBC's Samira Hussain has the story.
Another night of calm as residents largely abide by a strict curfew imposed by Nepal's army. Law and order seems to be holding for now, but the country is still without an interim leader. Early reports suggested the Chief Justice of Nepal's Supreme Court could assume the position of interim leader, but there was a lack of a clear agreement among those at the negotiating table.
Recapping the top story, the SAWA Assistant Professor of Politics, Peace and Security at the University of Juba, Abraham Nuon, has called on the international community to place the needs of citizens ahead of individual leadership. This comes as First Vice President of South Sudan, Riek Machar, is being charged with murder, treason and crimes against humanity. For any news stories you would like to share with us, please do send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +27 11 714 4459. For Channel Africa News, I'm Cholani Tulongwebe.
SABC News. The African Perspective.
Seven minutes into 2 p.m. in Central African time. For some reason, I think because we were speaking to Lerato about Hostex, and she mentioned Uber Eats and all of that, and now I'm getting hungry. But I'm going to get even more hungry because we're talking about more food in this hour on the upside.
What are you craving?
Craving something wrapped, like a wrap of sorts.
A wrap.
Yes. No, but also, actually, no. Let me be specific.
That sounds heavy.
What I'm about to describe is extra heavy. I call it a Greek kota. That's how heavy it is.
All right.
So they make these really good Greek-style falafel balls, which falafel is basically chickpea and spices and all of that.
Yes.
And then they deep fry it, and then they put it in their traditional bread with lots of hummus and tahina and vegetables. And you take that thing, and it's like this big, and you take it and you apply it to your face, and it comes with fries. Oh, you are full for 6 weeks. after that.
I was full just listening to you describe this thing. My goodness me.
So good.
Cooking with Love will be getting into conversation with Chef Bibi Ashelaher, who's been making waves in Morningside with a culinary passion and heart for community. We'll talk about what inspired her journey into the culinary space, what she's up to right now, what we can expect in the future. And tell you what, man, if you're talking about food and you don't mention ama ribs in front of me right now, it's a problem. That's what I'm craving.
That's what you're craving.
I realize right now in this moment that I'm craving ama ribs.
And also, you know, the thing about rib cravings, they've got to come done correct, or don't even bother, because I know people that crave ribs. They've the right amount of basting. It's got to be cooked properly. It's got to have the right ratio of meat to fat. If you give me anything else, it's going to be.
You see, now you're raising my high blood pressure. Because on Uber Eats, on Uber Eats, I got very frustrated this other day on Uber Eats, because there's a restaurant, right, and they have the most beautiful pictures of the food. You're like, oh my, you're salivating just looking at the food. Like, oh, brilliant.
The glycerine glazed photographs.
Yeah, and so I ordered this fantastic burger that looks like, something out of a movie. It arrived. Was I not the most disappointed human? The chips look like something you can buy at your local supermarket in the freezer there, put in your air fryer. I was so disappointed. They sold the picture. I was like, I was salivating just looking at it.
And you that guy, you eat with your eyes first.
Oh, you must eat with your eyes.
Like most normal people do.
We all do.
Yeah.
But I was very disappointed. Anyway, but we will not be disappointed with Bibi joining us next on The Upside. It's 10 minutes after 2 p.m. Central African Time. Welcome to the golden hour of The Upside.
Você é fluente em português? É apaixonado por rádio e quer trabalhar na África do Sul? Você tem documentos que o qualificam para trabalhar na África do Sul? Nesse caso, podemos ter uma oportunidade para você trabalhar no Canal África. Envie seu currículo e demonstração para Canal África at newsroom@channelafrica.co.za. Lembre-se, se você não receber alguma resposta nossa em 14 dias, isso significa que você não foi selecionado. Canal África, a perspectiva africana.
Got something to say? Are you passionate about issues that matter? Do you have a voice that deserves to be heard? Well, we've got the perfect platform for you. Call in or drop us a WhatsApp on +27 63 406 9126. And we will call you back so you could have your say and be part of the conversation.
30 years of age. I just turned 30 on the 15th of November. So that's who I am, you know.
It's not just talk. It's your chance to air your views. Share your opinion. Engage with a community that values your perspective. Follow us on our social media. Visit our website at www.channelafrica.co.za and get ready to share your views on Channel Africa, the African perspective. Tune in and turn up the volume. This is Channel Africa.
Baby.
Jason Derulo.
Hasimbaluma. Masikhohlwe ngenkinga. Sekukubalisela. Howju. Masikhuphula imizwa. Wezombi. Sukumisa umzimba. Masikhohlwe ngenkinga. Sekukubalisela. Masikhuphula imizwa, sukumisa umzimba. Koma sava, koma savana na. Aye sava, na.
Koma sava, koma sava, koma sava, koma sava. Aye sava, aye sava, aye sava.
in the club. What made you walk my way? Was it my smile or my diamond Rolex? You ain't see nobody else in the place till you heard me say, comment ça va? Comment ça va? Comment ça va? Comment ça va? Aya ça va, 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 aya ça va. Comment ça va?
So easy, it just be buggy. So easy, it just be buggy.
How are you? Unjan, como vai? Habari gani? Ni hao. Assalamu alaikum. Como estás, amigo? Namaste. Como ça va? Como ça va? Como ça va? Como ça va? Aya ça va, aya ça va, aya ça va, aya ça va, aya ça va. Como ça va?
So easy, it just be buggy. So easy,
Itiwe sanibonani amba namajita sekreteti yapila ntwana wena unjani ayiwena ngithi vele funani ayiwe zombi sanibonani amba namajita sekreteti yapila ntwana wena unjani ayiwena ngithi vele funani ayiwe zombi saba saba ay tata
Comment ça va? Comment ça va? Comment ça va? Comment ça va? Aya ça va, aya ça va, aya ça va, aya ça va, aya ça va. Comment ça va? Comment ça va? Comment ça va? Comment ça va? Aya ça va, aya ça va, aya ça va.
Como ça va? Diamond Platinums featuring Khalil Harrison, Jason Derulo, and Schley. It's 16 minutes after 2 p.m. Central African Time. It's the second hour of The Upside, your gateway to the good life on Channel Africa, the African perspective. It's time for us to talk all things food, because Mmatsheko has salivating in studio, and because she brought up the food topic, now all we can think about is food. And now we want to talk to a chef who maybe can satisfy us with a story of food, so that we don't leave the studio right now to go get food. So let's get into a conversation with the chef.
Well, we're going to do that anyway, because if you've been on
gonna do that,
Bibi Aisha Laher's Instagram, you are already going to start salivating, okay? Cooking with love is basically her philosophy as a chef, a culinary passionate woman. She's also a noted speaker, as I see, but really her story is rooted in the culinary space, and she is joining us to talk to us about her food story and how that merges with family, with culture, with heritage, a big theme in South Africa at the moment, and also inspiration. Bibi Aisha Laher, welcome to Channel Africa. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good afternoon to both of you, and how are you guys doing today?
We are so good. I love the vibrancy in your energy. Let's talk about, I've seen you describe food as something rooted in love. So talk to us about how that just translates in you wanting to share it with, or share the cooking passion with the world.
So I was listening to the two of you speaking earlier about rubs, and you guys were making me salivate. And the way you were describing the rubs and how tasty it needs to be, and how you just think about it and it makes you so excited, that's food for me. That's my love language. For me to show my appreciation to anyone, in fact, that's my tagline, the best way to show your love appreciation for someone is by cooking for them. I think that's the ultimate way of showing your gratitude and appreciation to somebody when you say, I want to cook for you. Food, music, and sport bring people together. And that's what I wanted to do. I want to reunite families and friends. I want that connection to come with families who have lost that communication. If I have to think back of my childhood, this was a non-negotiable. When your father comes home during the week, after work, you need to be ready, homework done, you done bathing, everything, help in the kitchen, and you have dinner together. That's where communication took place. That's where you'd hear about family news. That's where you also got punished if you were up to some nonsense in school. But everything happened on that supper table, which I see now is lacking in so many homes because of social media, because of families being busy and doing different activities. We're not eating together. And as we know, they say the family that pray together, eat together, stay together.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure that we can revive that.
I love
through
that.
food.
I love that. It's 20 minutes after 2 p.m. Central African time. We're currently in conversation with Bibi Asha Laher, and she loves cooking. She loves feeding people food because it comes from a place of love. And she wants to invite us to go back to a place where we can share stories around a dinner table and go back to being connected through food. And we'll continue the conversation with her right after this.
The Midnight Snack, 12 to 3 a.m.
Our fitness coach, her name is Yvonne Dimakazo Pasha. How to remain consistent with gyms, Dima, and I'm going to put you on the spot right now. As we are talking, I will send you my picture and I want you to tell me what you think I should work on. Because, when I look at myself, Dima, I think I'm very handsome. I'm so good looking, oh my goodness. Like here at Channel Africa where I work, I think I'm one of the most good looking people ever. Like sometimes when I look at myself in the mirror, I never get used to how good I look. I'm just amazing.
You're okay with the way you're looking. You wish people could run from and now you want to put me on the spot.
Do I need gym?
Yeah. I mean, if you can just consider eating healthy, cutting down a few foodstuffs such as junk.
The Midnight Snack, every Monday, 12 to 3 a.m. with Chanduko Ligege. Mmatsheko Mosito and Tebogo Lekhuleni on the upside.
21 minutes after 2 p.m. Central African time. Let's continue our conversation with Chef Bibi Asha Laher. And listen, she's making waves in Morningside with her culinary passion. And we want to find out more about what she's currently up to and what we can expect for the rest of the year. Bibi, you spoke about food and you spoke so passionately about food and wanting to get us to get to a place where we can return to sitting around the dinner table, sharing conversations with family, connecting through food. If I were to put you on the spot right now, what food takes you instantly back to your childhood?
If I have to think right now, anything that my mother makes. Nobody is a better chef in the world, let's be honest, than Umama. Everybody's mommy is the best chef in the world. And I must say this to you, I'm a home chef. So, my whole thing is that at home, you get to play around with food. You get to experiment with different flavors and ingredients because you're feeding your loved ones. So if I have to think right now, comfort food made by my mother will be hands down a chicken biryani. I'm a Desi girl, a chicken biryani. If I have to think of my father, I'm going to say chizinyama. I'm going to think, you talking about those ribs? I was thinking about steak and the sausages and the wors that my father made. So what I love about growing up in the home that I grew up with, grew up in, was my mother and my father and my brothers were hands-on in the kitchen. So cooking was a very natural thing for me to get into. It wasn't just the woman cook and not the men, and the men just eat. We did this together as a family. So there's so many recipes. We need to have like 5 shows to cover that. But anything prepared by mom or dad was just very, very special. So if there's anything specific, you're going to have to ask me, and I'll be happy to share.
Really beautiful. Bibi, let's go back to just your philosophy around bringing back the tradition of collective meal times between families, and also just creating a wonderful source of fellowship for the children and the mom and the dad and all of that. Let's talk about how that filters into how you run your kitchen and your food business, and how you strike that balance between, running an adequate, entrepreneurship space, but also keeping those traditions alive in the food that you create.
I think what was very important that I was a former teacher for 25 years with the Gauteng Department of Education, and I was a foundation-based specialist teacher. And working with children, I would notice this connection that was missing between children and their families. I mean, if a child comes to me as a teacher and calls me mommy, that is telling me a lot about what's going on in the home. And I realized that I also, as a motivational speaker, I get to go to different areas, I get to meet different communities and speak at different events. And this is where I noticed this connection is missing. And I felt the best way to bring back that family unit is, again, go back to the basics of families being together and eating together. One of the most simplest activities that families can do together, but we've taken it for granted. So what I basically do is I practice what I preach, so to speak. In my house, there's rules. Mealtime, the cell phone's not on the table. We don't answer any calls. It's a time for us to connect. It's this much needed communication that families need, that friends need. I mean, think about it. When last did you have a conversation with someone, even if you went to a restaurant, where the cell phone was not on the table? It's like the third person kind of always there. I want to eliminate all of that. I just want you to savor that food, enjoy preparing a meal together as a family. If you break a glass or you break the plate, so what? Clean it up also together as a family. If you make a dish and it's a flop, and I promise with my recipe book, they flop proof. But even if it's a flop, so what? You laugh about it and you make it again. It's all about human connection using food. And you make the time for it. I mean, think about food, the food industry right now. There are children who are 6, 7, 8 years old who are master chefs, so to speak. There are children who are so passionate about food. Now, we as adults, if we see their talent in children, why can't we get involved in the kitchen? We complain that we don't have enough time to spend with our family and loved ones. We all need to eat. There's your idea. Get in the kitchen and prepare meals with your children. Learn from each other, communicate, get to know each other better, and eat that meal together. Keep that family unit, because that's what you need. That's the ultimate. Without family, we have no foundation. We have nowhere to lean on. I want to reconnect families and friends through my food.
Talk to the bachelors and the bachelorettes, those who live by themselves. We don't know how to cook. Where must we start, Bibi?
So the bachelors and the bachelorettes, what you need to do is you need to get a copy of my recipe book, because I've been so selective of the recipes that I've chosen. So the recipes, lots of them are recipes that I've learned from my mother, recipes that I've tweaked on my own. Some of the recipes are recipes that I've learned from hotel chefs on some of my travels overseas. But I chose I basically chose recipes that are budget friendly, that will appeal to everyone. There's a chapter on fish, there's a chapter on vegetarian meals, because that's a big thing right now. There's a chapter on meat dishes. I know that's right up your alley, because I know you love enjoying meat. And also on salads, on juices, on desserts. So there's something there for everyone. There's something. I must share something. When I had my book launch last year, I had my book launch in Durban, and the first person who came to my, they actually purchased my recipe book was 9 years old. He came all the way from Pietermaritzburg to buy my book, and he gives me feedback. He gives me feedback on the recipes that he's made. I mean, I have a cooking show on one of the radio stations, and he'll say to me, I made this, I made that. I had another gentleman message me sometime last year after purchasing my book, saying that, I was going to get married and I wanted to impress the future father-in-law. So I invited my future in-laws to my home for a meal. And Bibi Aisha, I cooked a dish from your book, and the father-in-law gave me his blessings. So I feel like I'm part of your life. And the book is dedicated to my mother. My mom's 85 years old. It's my, act of love, labor of love towards my mother. So I feel by purchasing my book, by going through the recipes, by creating all these beautiful, precious moments, you've allowed us into your home and life. Something else also with the recipes, some of the recipes have a little story on the page, right? And that will tell you, maybe I learned this on a trip to Rio, maybe I learned this on my trip to Hyderabad, maybe this is something that my father used to make that took me to a happy place. So in that way, you understanding where my love for food came from. It's something that always just makes me so happy. I mean, you can hear from my voice right now. Food is my love language.
Oh, baby, that is so.
I would
that's
love for
really
us to
beautiful.
continue with her.
Yes. If you've got some time, we'd love to continue because I need to know if your green acne with chicken that I will assume is foolproof or flop proof is in this recipe book, because I'm on your Instagram and it looks absolutely, as somebody, I mean, I'm obsessed with biryani, and I would love to know if the green acne with chicken is in the recipe book, and also if I can vegetarianize that, because it looks so absolutely scrumptious. But let's do this. Let's take a quick sports break. Hopefully Bibi can stay on the line with us so we can continue talking about cooking with love. Figilele Ngwati is standing by on the sports desk with the latest.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African perspective.
In our sports update, we kick off with football news. Sudan football side Al Hilal is expected to face the Rwandan Army team in the Council for East and Central Africa Football Association CECAFA Club Championship on the 12th of September at the Dar es Salaam Stadium. Al Hilal is qualified for the semi-finals of the CECAFA Club Championship after defeating South Sudan's Kato Juba 3-1 in Tanzania, the host country of the tournament. In the same group, Ali Ahli Madani lost 2-1 to Mogadishu City, leaving Al Hilal at the top with 5 points and an equal goal tally. In the other semi-final, Tanzanian Singida will face fellow countrymen KMC, with the final scheduled for the 15th of September at the KMC Stadium. On to rugby news. Springbok captain Siya Kolisi quashed talk of putting his side through the ringer to try to beat New Zealand in round 4 of the Rugby Championship in Wellington on Saturday morning. Kolisi has been a part of many incredible Springbok victories, but he stressed that the preparations are always the same, regardless of the opponent or the occasion. The Springboks need to win to stay in contention to defend their Rugby Championship title and retain the Freedom Cup as well. The Bok captain's years of experience have been called upon to reiterate that while the side is desperate for the win, they can't practice any harder to achieve their goals.
We have to also keep our heads. It's the same as you play in a World Cup final. You don't do preparations different to any game. You prepare exactly the same. I mean, so nothing has changed our way. We know how much pressure there is in the game already, so we don't need to add any more. So we've prepared properly, having Sasha take charge of the team, and obviously Ruan and Lord taking care of the line-out, but nothing has been done that's special or out of the norm that we've done, because we've never done anything different to any games that we've won before or any big game that we've played in.
Kolisi says this game against New Zealand is important for many reasons, including being a rite of passage for touring Bok sides, where an away win to the All Blacks can provide previously unknown levels of confidence in future matches.
We want to win and stay in the Rugby Championship. Also, there's the Freedom Cup in there, but I think also for these guys that are getting the opportunity for the first time here in New Zealand to also be able to get an opportunity like this, and also to feel what it feels like to win on tour. And I think that will give the guys a lot of confidence. And I think a lot of group had done it before. So yeah, it's a different game, but it's important as well in many different ways.
On to athletics. Ethiopian middle distance runner Diribe Welteji will miss the World Athletics Championships after a request for her provisional suspension by the Athletics Integrity Unit, while a doping case was upheld by the Court of Arbitration for Sport today. The 23-year-old, who won silver in the 1,500 meters at the last World Championships in Budapest 2 years ago, was cleared of a charge of failing or refusing to submit a doping sample by the Ethiopian Anti-Doping Authority in late August. The AIU appealed to CAS and said on Thursday it had requested that Welteji be ineligible to compete until the matter was adjudicated. Welteji was scheduled to run in the women's 1,500-meter heats at Tokyo's National Stadium on Saturday. We wrap up with the golf news. The first CEO of Live Golf, Greg Norman, has officially moved on from the Saudi-backed tour. 70-year-old Norman was the original CEO when the Upstart Golf League launched in 2021 and was involved in recruiting several high-profile players from the PGA Tour and the European circuit. He was replaced as the CEO and commissioner by Scott O'Neill in January. The two-time major winner, an Australian known as the Shark during his PGA Tour career, had remained with the tour in an unnamed position. Golf Digest's organizing board for the 2032 Summer Olympics in Brisbane has reported that his contract expired in August. And Live Golf recently completed its 4th season. For any sports stories you'd like to share with us, please send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +2711 714 4459. This is Channel Africa Sport with me, Fikile Lungwadi.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African Perspective. Africa Update on Channel Africa with Lulu Kabu.
Mozambique's opposition leader Venancio Mondlane has been charged with incitement to terrorism and disobedience. He faces a total of 5 charges. The charges relate to post-election violence that left hundreds of people dead. What punishment is he looking at?
The most severe charges are 2. One is incitement for terrorism, and also is being charged for mobilizing people for terrorism during the protests. These charges are really serious and severe. If he is condemned, is found guilty, he could serve 10 years plus years in jail, meaning that he would be banned from political participation, mainly for the 2028 and 2029 electoral cycle.
The director of CDD, the Center for Democracy and Development, Adriano Novunga.
Africa Update with Lulu Kabu, 12 to 1 p.m. Central African Time. Midday vibes, great programming, and good company. This is Channel Africa.
36 minutes after 2 p.m. Central African Time. Nosipo Zuma is standing by with business news.
Business news on Channel Africa. The African Perspective.
Thank you, Tebogo. Good afternoon. In your business news this hour, the G20 Tourism Minister Summit is currently underway in Mpumalanga, South Africa, with leaders from around the world discussing sustainable growth and international cooperation in the tourism sector. French Ambassador to South Africa, David Martinon, emphasized the need for the industry to prioritize sustainability and contribute to decarbonization. He also highlighted Africa's potential as a global tourism destination, noting that improved air connectivity is crucial to unlocking the continent's travel opportunities.
We do want to make sure that the tourism sector and industry put an emphasis on sustainability, and because we believe that the industry has to take its own part in the decarbonization process.
South Africa's Department of Higher Education has welcomed the withdrawal of the National Credit Act amendment regulations. The Trade, Industry and Competition Department withdrew the draft regulations, which would have led to potential blacklisting of people with student debt. The decision follows an overwhelming public response, including more than 20,000 submissions. The majority of the responses were opposed to the regulations. Higher Education spokesperson Mmatsheko says Minister Buti Manamela will engage with Trade, Industry and Competition Minister Pakstau to find a way forward.
We remained mindful of potential unintended consequences for young people, particularly Black students. The Minister thanked the many citizens, particular student and youth organizations, who made submissions on the gazetted regulations, raising critical concerns about the regulations. The Minister will also engage with the Minister of Trade and Industry and Competition and his team on a collaborative way forward.
South Africa's Auditor General Tsakani Maluleke says her office wants certainty when it comes to the calculation of audit fees. She was addressing the Standing Committee on the Auditor General today. Her office's ability to collect debt from various entities like municipalities and state-owned enterprises was on today's agenda, with National Treasury unpacking challenges the AG faces in collecting debt. Maluleke also weighed in on the issues of audit costs, which some entities say they are struggling to pay.
Audit fees, as Mr. Khan says, are engaged upon with auditees, and they are determined based on the risk profile, the audit program, the matters that we have to cover in terms of the audit directive, the provisions of Section 20 on financial statements, performance information and compliance, and then they are also determined by the readiness of the auditee that we engaged with. Over time, this area of audit fee affordability has enjoyed a lot of attention from Team HSA and will certainly be available to provide that feedback.
Microsoft has avoided a possible hefty EU antitrust fine by offering customers to reduce prices for Office products, excluding Teams. Now, this move comes amid rising tensions with the United States over EU scrutiny of big tech. The case was triggered by a 2020 complaint from Salesforce-owned Slack Technologies Incorporation to the European Commission, which accused Microsoft of bundling its chat and video app Teams with its Office product to gain an unfair advantage over rivals. Microsoft has agreed to widen the price gap by 50% between a certain Microsoft 365 and Office 365 suites that excludes Teams and their equivalent versions that include Teams, including suites targeted at businesses. And finally, Swiss watchmaker Swatch has begun selling a special edition watch with the numbers 3 and 9 reversed on its face in a play on the 39% tariffs President Donald Trump imposed on U.S. tariffs or imports from Switzerland last month. The tariffs, among the highest set by Trump worldwide, were met with shock and dismay in Switzerland, costing $175. The watch, named What If Tariffs, went on sale on Wednesday and is only available in Switzerland. The watchmaker's spokesperson says the watch was made with a knowing wink and sent a wake-up call to the Swiss government, which so far has not managed to secure a reduction of the tariffs. Your financial indicators: $1 in Nigeria is trading at 1,000 naira 506, and Botswana it's 13 pula 26. Kenya, the dollar is trading at 128 shilling 39, and in Zambia it's 24 kwacha 08. The BRICS countries: $1 in Brazil is trading at 5 real 40. Russia is 84 rubles 33. India is 84 rupees 68. China at 7 yuan 12. And in South Africa, $1 is trading at 17 rand 45. $1 is trading at 74 pence to the British pound and 85 to the euro. Looking at commodities, the gold is trading at $3,626 and platinum at $1,378 per ounce. The price of Brent crude oil is at $67.20 a barrel. Now, for any business news stories you would like to share with us, please send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +27 11 714 4459. For Channel Africa Business, I'm Mosito Suma.
Business News on Channel Africa. The African Perspective. AUSISA, the Association of Water and Sanitation Institution of South Africa, is a platform uniting Africa's water professionals. This November, Africa leads the conversation on water and sanitation. Join global and African leaders at the AUSISA Africa and Global South Dialogue 2025 from the 9th till the 12th of November at the Emperor's Palace, Johannesburg. From policy innovation, this is where action meets collaboration for a water-secure future. Register today at ausisa-watersan-dialogue.org or follow at AUSISA on social media. AUSISA, working together for sustainable water and sanitation security in Africa. Your afternoons just got even better, fresh and exciting. The Upside, hooking you up with today's news from an African perspective.
Cooking with Bibi. Just in case you didn't catch the last segment, I'm very sad for you because we had just such a wonderful conversation speaking to Bibi Aisha Laher, who is just cooking with love and spreading or bringing back the tradition of us gathering for meal times and just enjoying the food. Bibi, I was remarking as we're going through some of the delicious recipes on your Instagram with Tebogo that I like that your food is so home cooked. You know, it's not like overly, this fancy food that doesn't look attainable, where the ingredients don't look like the stuff that you can get from your local supermarket. We see potatoes, we see chicken, we see like it's just the flat breads, stuff that we know you can just get flour and water and get going. So let's expand on that. Why you have kept your aesthetic so kind of homemade, if you will.
So first and foremost, as we know, the intention is to bring back families together through food. And we also need to understand that everybody's budget is different. Sometimes things may look extremely fancy and, I can go over the top when it comes to entertaining. I won't lie to you, I do go a little bit over the top. But sometimes, if I had to go through somebody's Instagram page or maybe go through certain recipe books and I look at certain dishes and if the picture is a bit too ostentatious and I'm like, ooh, that looks very difficult. I don't think I can do that. But if I look at a picture that's looking, it's inviting, I'm eating with my eyes and I look at something familiar, it's going to be something that I want to try out. It's not going to be something intimidating, especially we're talking to the bachelors or the bachelorettes. Or the younger children, the teenage children that want to try something in the kitchen. I don't want to sort of scare you somewhat. Also, when it comes to home cooking, we forget how important home cooking is because it's not so much about basically, looking at food as a chore. It's basically something of bringing people together. Like I said, it must look appealing, it must look simple, it must look tasty, it must look like something like I can do this and I'm going to perfect it. I must tell you something about me. So if I try out a recipe for the first time and I don't get it right, I will not sleep until I will do it again. My poor husband had to eat scones one day at 10 o'clock at night because I made it one day and it didn't come out right. And no, you will not go to bed until the scones are made and I'm happy with it. So that's very important to me. I think I am somewhat of a perfectionist. But, to answer your earlier question about the green acne, believe it or not, I tried it for the first time. No, unfortunately, that's not in my recipe book. It's on my Instagram where people could give me a follow, Bibi Aisha Laher. But I tried it for the first time and I adjusted some of the spices because my husband likes a bit more spicy food. And I'm so happy it was a hit. So, that was just, I guess, beginner's luck. But then again, when it comes to food as well, sometimes you're going to hit a boo-boo. I mean, even the most experienced cooks hit a boo-boo. But that's the thing with cooking. We always learning from each other. And that's what I love so much about food.
Bibi, I'm going to put you on the spot very quickly, and this is going back to the bachelors and the bachelorettes, right? Let's say I'm going to entertain someone for the evening, and I want to cook for them. What recipes can I go for in your book that is Cooking with Bibi Aisha? I need a starter, I need a main, and I need a dessert.
So you are really putting me on the spot. So must I just name off some of the recipes? Or do you want me to give you a recipe? Because I don't mind. Either way, you just talking my love language.
You can give us a recipe, yes.
Okay, so for a simple starter, I would think obviously knowing, who you're going to be entertaining. So I always keep kebabs in my freezer. I always do. Sometimes it's store bought. I'm not gonna lie. I also do a hack. Sometimes it's also store bought. I have a recipe for kebabs in my recipe book as well, right? So what I love doing is I love preparing the kebabs either, frying them on the stovetop or putting them in the oven. This is what I like doing. I always keep mini pitas at home, whether I have my own recipe or a ready-made one. I always keep mini pitas. So what I like doing is, frying the kebabs or either putting them in the oven, deciding how you want to do that, and then lightly pan frying the mini pitas. And then what I love doing is I love drizzling a little bit of coriander chutney or green chutney at the bottom. Oh, and what I would do is I would, individually place one of the kebabs and basically just drizzle a little bit of sometimes I would think of maybe just putting any other sauce that I feel like I'm in the mood for their day, and just maybe coriander. I love coriander. My husband calls me the dhania queen. That's what it's known as, dhania. I love it. Sometimes what I do with the kebabs, I do make it a bit fancy. So again, I would have the pita at the bottom. I would put maybe a chutney that I like just to add a bit of sauce. And then with the toothpick, I would have maybe a thin slice of cucumber, and then a nice juicy kebab, and then maybe just ending it off with a cherry tomato and an olive on a toothpick. So basically it looks like this kebab tower on this little pita that you can have as a starter. It's tasty and it's very, very pretty. For a main, I'm going to share this recipe with you because I know you like meat. We're going to go saucy lamb chops. So I'm going to ask you guys, do you have your pen and paper ready?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so you know that you're going to be having a dinner party. So this is something that you have to prepare the night before. When it comes to meat marination, if it's marinated overnight, obviously the flavors are just so much better.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start off with the ingredients. So this is basically serving 6. If you're a meat lover, you can double up the recipe. So it's 1 kilograms of lamb chops, which needs to be washed and pat dry. 2 teaspoons of barbecue spice.
Okay.
So I always say, how hot can you go, right? Depending on if you can handle masalas. So if you can handle masalas, you can buy the ready-made ginger garlic masala. So you can add 2 teaspoons of red ginger garlic masala.
Got it.
If you're thinking a little bit too spicy, then you can just add 2 teaspoons of ground ginger garlic that you can get at any of the supermarkets.
Okay.
It's already ground ginger garlic. Then I'm going to say salt to taste. I add 1 teaspoon of turmeric powder because I like the color.
Okay.
We're going back to heat now, right? So my recipe calls for 3 teaspoons of fine red chili powder. I would always recommend that, when you're having a dinner party, find out people's allergies and how hot can they go, because you don't want your guests to be crying and sweating. You want them to be comfortable. So 3 teaspoons of fine red chili powder. Then it's 1 teaspoon of lemon pepper.
Okay, got that.
2 tablespoons of lemon juice. Freshly squeezed is always the way to go. If it's store-bought, it's fine.
Lemon juice, got it.
3 more ingredients. So it's 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. Or Worcestershire.
Worcestershire, that one.
Worcester sauce for short.
That one.
That one, yes. 3 tablespoons of tomato sauce. I'm not going to say any brands, but everyone has their favorite. So 3 tablespoons of tomato sauce.
Okay.
And finally, 1.5 tablespoons of barbecue sauce.
I can smell these delicious lamb chops already.
Oh,
So
It's so
good.
divine. Can
So
you
good.
understand why I'm saying saucy? And the method, there's literally 3 steps. I just added 4 because I'm giving you a serving suggestion.
Okay.
So the method is so simple. You're basically going to mix all the ingredients together,
Okay.
except the lamb chops, right? So give it a good mix. It's a really, really pretty color. Then you're going to add the chops into that marinade
Mm-hmm.
and just cling wrap your dish and leave it in the fridge overnight.
Okay. All right. Got that.
So now you know that your guests are coming like in half an hour's time. This is what you do. You get a good non-stick frying pan and heat some butter or even ghee, totally up to you, in that pot. And over medium heat, you're going to add the chops, the marinated chops, and add a little bit of water and basically just allow it to cook. Water is necessary just to make sure that the meat is nice and tender and succulent, and the sauces are just, all it's just juicy, and you're trying very hard to keep your finger away from there. And there you go. That's all that you need to do. When you are serving your saucy lamb chops, you can serve it with veggies or with chips or even with pasta, whatever side dish that you want to go with that. And there you go. Saucy lamb chops.
Voila.
Love that. Voila.
Dessert, I'm going to give you my all-time favorite. And there's a story behind why this is my all-time favorite. Can I share the story very quickly, please?
Please do.
Okay, so it's my pineapple delight recipe. And why I love this so much, when my husband and I just got married, I remember during the month of Ramadan, I would try and make out different desserts. I want to like impress the husband and, show the in-laws, like I know my way around the kitchen. And I remember the one evening, I looked for this dessert in the fridge and I couldn't find it. And I asked, someone else in the house, like, where's this dessert? Did somebody take it somewhere? It was a case of the missing dessert. So I needed to wait for my husband to come back from prayers. And I'm like, somebody took my dessert. And he looked at me and he started laughing. And I said to him, where is my dessert? He's like, let's just come with me. Let's go for a drive somewhere. And I found it so odd because I'm looking for a dessert that I made and he's not answering me. So I live in a coastal town. So he parked off near the beach and he tells me, let's go sit in the back seat. And we'll open the windows, listen to the waves. And I'm looking at him like I'm irritated. Where's my dessert? And this man stole my dessert, so to speak, transferred it into one of these empty ice cream containers, and he had 2 spoons and serviettes, and he goes, I thought we'll have your pineapple dessert under the stars.
Oh, that is so sweet. Come on now.
So cute. It was just the most special thing ever. This is my go-to recipe. It's very, very easy to prepare, preferably the night before, but if not, it's fine. Earlier in the day also works well. So guys, are you ready for my pineapple delight?
Yes, we are.
Okay, this is what you will need. You are going to need 2 tins of pineapple crush in light syrup. Now, please be very wary. Or be very careful. There's pineapple pieces. There's pineapple chunks. You want pineapple crush in light syrup.
All right.
That's the first ingredient. Then you will need 1 tin of dessert creams. I generally use the Nestle cream. So just 1 tin of that.
Dessert cream.
Yes.
Okay, got that.
1 tin of condensed milk. 250 ml of sour cream.
Okay.
And then just fresh pineapple chunks and maybe a chocolate that you like for garnish. That's it.
And this is going to be turned into an ice cream, isn't it?
This actually not. So this is what you're going to do. You are just going to take a nice dish again. What you're going to do is throw in your dessert cream. So what I like doing with the cream, I like to thin it out. So I generally beat it with a fork. And then to that cream, I add the condensed milk. When you're adding the condensed milk, this is a bad habit I have. I like to lick the top of the lid of the condensed milk on the can.
I love it.
We all do that.
Yes.
We all do that, baby. Don't worry.
And then add the sour cream. And then what we're going to do with the pineapple crush, right? We're going to try and drain some of the syrup out. Not all, some of the syrup.
Okay.
and basically mix all of that together and just give it a quick taste. It's so yum. Mix it all together, put it in a nice, fancy, pretty, a pretty glass bowl, and then leave it in the fridge. I would say minimum 4 hours. Overnight is even better for all the flavors to get combined. And then when you're ready to serve, this is what I normally do. I just put a little bit of pineapple chunks on the top, and I just grate a little bit of flake chocolate on top just for some added sweetness. You can make this in individual bowls as well. It looks really pretty, and it is so delicious. The only thing I'm going to say is when you are enjoying this dessert, imagine that you're sitting by the seaside hearing the waves and think of me and my husband and send us a prayer.
Oh, I've literally said, I don't know how many times in this interview. Bibi, you are a star in the galaxy. And, we've got another important moon phase that's coming up on the 7th of October. And I'm definitely going to be thinking about you then and sending you all the love. You are amazing. Where can we get a copy of Cooking with Bibi Aisha Laher?
Okay, so you can send me a WhatsApp directly. Can I share my number?
Yes, you can.
Okay, it's 072 1522 So South Africa +27 072 1522 You can send me a direct message if you follow me on Instagram, Bibi Aisha Lehe, and courier is free around South Africa. Also, you can go to the local bargain bookstores in South Africa. They are stocking my book as well. And, for me, like I said, it's an absolute honor. If somebody purchases my book, basically you are giving a place in your heart and in your life to my mom and I. And, we just wish that your families reunite through food and just send us a prayer. That's my ultimate goal.
Thank you, Bibi. Thank you so much, Bibi. I really enjoyed meeting you this way. And just acquainting, through food and remembering who we are through the food. Thank you. You literally are taking us to different places with the dishes, because I'm hearing a bit of Middle East, a little Bangladesh, a little India, which is so beautiful. All the best. And hopefully when you have another gathering, we can come and taste some food. My favorite acne and Tebogo's favorite lamb chops.
Thank you so much for having me. I would love it. And I'm just going to leave you and your listeners with this. The best way to show your love and appreciation for someone is definitely by cooking for them. Cooking with Bibi Aisha. Nom nom.
Nom nom. Nom. Thank you. Thank you, Bibi.
Thank you.
Okay, so if you want to also just see the recipes for yourself, Bibi is on Instagram. That's just the best place to visually get a taste. Bibi Aisha Laher is who she is on Instagram. So check it out. She's just so wonderful and really an amazing cook. It's 3 p.m. in Central African time. We are in the grand finale for this Friday of The Upside, and Jolene Tulungwepe is standing by with the latest news bulletin.
SABC News. The African Perspective.
Thank you, Mmatsheko. Top stories. Asawa WHO optimistic the latest Ebola outbreak can be contained in the DRC, and Israel intensifies its military offensive in Gaza City. Good afternoon. The World Health Organization says it is possible to contain the latest Ebola outbreak in Congo if correct steps are taken within the next 2 weeks. Speaking at a briefing in Geneva, WHO Program Area Manager Patrick Otim called for more support for the government and other partners to boost efforts underway to contain the outbreak. The Democratic Republic of Congo's Health Ministry last week declared the country's first Ebola outbreak in 3 years. It is the country's 16th outbreak overall and the first in Kasai province since 2008. The latest data from the Health Ministry in Kinshasa said there were 32 suspected cases, 20 confirmed and 16 deaths. Assistant Professor of Politics, Peace and Security at the University of Juba, Abraham Nuon, has called on the international community to place the needs of citizens ahead of individual leadership. This comes as first Vice President of South Sudan, Riek Machar, is being charged with murder, treason and crimes against humanity. It is feared that this could reignite the country's civil war. The charges relate to an attack in March by a militia allegedly linked to Machar. The Vice President has been under house arrest since March. Nuon elaborates.
At this point, it is necessary that the international community, the regional institutions, and the president and the competent judges, the civil society, need to draw a line where whatever which is going to be done, as I said before, should not only about promoting the right of individual leaders at the expense of making the citizen to suffer. At the same time, it should not be an expense of punishing these leaders at expense of other people to maybe exert more power because they have the privilege of having the power.
The inquest into the death of South African anti-apartheid activist Steve Biko has been postponed to the 12th of November for case management in the High Court in Gqeberha in the Eastern Cape province. The reopening comes exactly 48 years after Biko died in police custody on the 12th of September 1977. Biko was allegedly tortured by the apartheid regime's special branch. The state has confirmed that 2 persons of interest are still alive. The Biko family says today's date was chosen for its historic significance. Cultural expert Gugu Mazibuko says South Africa's Constitutional Court judgment that allows men to take their wives' surnames undermines African values. Yesterday, the court declared sections of the Births and Deaths Registration Act unconstitutional for unfairly preventing men from taking their wives' surnames. The decision marks a watershed moment in South African history as men now have the option to carry their wives' last names. Mazibuko says the court did not consider the complexities of African families.
This can cause a lot of damage and tensions in families because you find that the clan name, they carry a lot of histories, especially when a female is getting married to a particular clan. There are naming ceremonies that are involved. That particular clan name, it is coming from the name of the ancestor in that family or his praised names. So when that is taken away, it will cause a lot of challenges.
Israel has intensified its military offensive in Gaza City, issuing a fresh evacuation order for the Palestinian territory's largest urban area. The BBC's Weera Davies reports.
Israel's military operation in Gaza continues. There are airstrikes overnight, more buildings destroyed, and today Israel has issued yet another warning to the 1 million or so residents of Gaza City to move further south. It's named 6 areas in central Gaza and 8 areas in southern Gaza towards which it says people can move, and that's in anticipation of what is thought to be a big Israeli ground offensive in Gaza City.
Recapping the top story this hour, the World Health Organization says it is possible to contain the latest Ebola outbreak in Congo if the correct steps are taken within the next 2 weeks. For any news stories you would like to share with us, please do send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +27 11714 4459. For Channel Africa News, I'm Cholani Tulongwepe.
SABC News. The African Perspective.
It is 6 minutes after 3 p.m. Central African Time. Welcome to the final hour of The Upside, your gateway to the good life on Channel Africa, The African Perspective, with Tebogo, Lekhuleni and Mmatsheko Mosito. Catch us live on our social media platforms at Channel Africa on Facebook and YouTube, and at Channel Africa 1 on TikTok. If you have DSTV, it's channel 802, OpenView channel 628, and as always, you can go to www.channelafrica.co.za to stream us and to also catch up on the podcasts, previous conversations on our show and on other shows as well. All right, in this hour of The Upside, we talk all things content creators, influencers, and the risks of working with international brands. We recently had a scandal involving international brands. So we want to talk about some of the risks, some of the red flags we need to look out for. If you're a content creator, this conversation is absolutely for you. No, we didn't do what caught your eye, but something caught my eye very quickly. Right?
Tell us.
Be a cricket player. Just become a cricket player.
I'm so confused right now.
Become a cricket player. Yesterday or the day before, South Africa had a bid for the SA20 tournament. It's in its 4th year next year, and they were bidding. It's like about 4-6 weeks. It's not that long. 4-6 weeks of cricket, of playing cricket. And guess how much money these players are going to be getting just for those 6 weeks of playing cricket? 6 weeks. 6 weeks of playing cricket. About 4-6 weeks of playing cricket. Guess how much? Just guess.
Per player.
Per player, yeah.
1.8 million in South African rands.
1.8 million rand.
Yeah, per player.
And also, that's quite a bit of money, isn't it?
Yeah,
like
it's a
1.8
lot
million.
of money. Yeah,
That's like just over a month.
That's a good chunk,
of
fam.
playing cricket. The highest, it was an auction yesterday, the highest bought player was a young man by the name of Dewald Brevis. He has been dubbed a baby AB de Villiers. AB de Villiers, known as Mr. 360 in the world of cricket, one of the greatest to have ever played. And he's a young man. He's about 20, 21 years old. He broke the record yesterday because a team bought him for, remember, playing for about 4-6 weeks. 16.5 million rand.
For 6 weeks.
Number 2, Aidan Makram, 14 million rand. Vian Mulder, 9 million rand. Gerald Kutsie, 7.4 million rand. The lowest of this list that I'm looking at was Ukwena Mapaga. He's about 20 years old. He's also a young man. 2.3 million rand to go play cricket for about 4-6 weeks. Let's go play cricket. Mmatsheko, I don't know what we need to do, but we must go play cricket. We must figure out how we go play cricket.
Look, listen, it might be
get involved.
It must be a tad, but I can definitely manage that gentleman that got 19 million rand.
Oh Lord, oh no, 16.
16.5. Listen, I want to manage that guy.
The question is he single? Wow.
Oh, that's a great question to ask.
And he's a very young man.
That's a great question to ask.
22 years
we
old.
need to know his marital status, but also we need to, for some people that are already in the parental arena, like me, one of my children is definitely going to be a cricketer. I am enforcing it from tonight.
Both of them actually, because there's the female squad, but for the SA20 it's the male it's the men's squad at the moment. But groom the young man to become a cricket player. 16 million rand to go play cricket for about 6 weeks. There's your future right there. There's your jackpot.
I'm going to be a very comfortable grandmother.
So now invest, please invest. It's 11 minutes after 3 p.m. Central African time. Welcome to the final hour of The Upside.
Gender-based violence is destroying lives and tearing communities apart. It happens in homes, in schools, at workplaces, and too often in silence. But it doesn't have to continue. If you see it, speak out. If you are hurting, reach out. Because doing nothing is not an option. Listen to all 19 SABC radio stations from Wednesday, 23rd of July for hard talk, discussions, advice, dramas, educational shows, and interviews around GBV with experts, survivors, lawmakers, and the whole country affected by gender-based violence. For all your favorite SABC radio stations, call 0800 428 428 to report abuse or get help. GBV, it ends with you. This message is brought to you by the SABC. This Heritage Month, we honor the beauty of our differences and the strength of our cultures. Listen to Channel Africa on satellite channel PAS 10.
I call this one an evergreen dance floor filler. Oh my goodness. Like it just never goes out of style. So wonderful. The horns of can I was the gentleman who's on horns? Moti. Moti
Yes.
of
Mikasa
fame. Thank you. Brandon Praise is on there as well, and this is the Tugson remix of Horns in the Sun.
Horns in the Sun.
Oh, so gorgeous.
What a banger.
What a banger.
What a banger of a song that is. Listen, let's talk about the risks of working with international brands as a content creator. Working with global brands is a dream for many creators, but it also comes with risks. From contract traps to payment issues and brand alignment, there's a lot to unpack. Let's get into conversation with a manager of top content creators to help us break down the needs and of the content creators, but also the red flags that we need to look out for if you are a content creator and your approach for international opportunities. We get into conversation with the founder of Stagnot Media, Phemelo Muipulai. Phemelo, thank you so much for your time. Welcome to the Upside. I mean, recently we saw an international opportunity. It was a disastrous opportunity, that one. Putting quite a few people's creative journeys on hold, risking their brands, and also potentially risking those who were involved in these programs we saw internationally. As a content creator, what do we need to look out for? What are the red flags? When it comes to international opportunities, how do we go about vetting to see whether an opportunity is a genuine one or one that could affect or impact my brand negatively?
Hey, hi. Thank you guys for having me. I mean, I think this is an interesting and ongoing conversation, popping up and appearing on different podcasts. So there isn't particularly one size fits all. It's easy to say, hey, these guys didn't have a letterhead, and therefore I'm going to dispel them and say they're not legit. I mean, at some point, everyone had to start somewhere. Not each business understands how needs to present itself, like, you know, with validity and just having the, you know, the correct procedures in place. However, I think the onus is also in the creator to do their research and just to maybe consult. And usually when there's money involved, I guess we tend to just jump the gun and say, hey, sure thing. What do you want me to influence? And I will definitely do the right thing. And I think that's the part where we need to do a better job is, who is this person? Just like do thoroughly, find a reference point, check them out on LinkedIn, and then see if there's anyone that has worked with them before and what's the destination of this whole entire thing that's been asked of you.
I think what's important to note is the complexity of contracts. You know, sometimes just a basic contract can be just so overwhelming. You don't even want to go through the fine print. So would you advise that perhaps, you know, the space of content creation that involves the influencers and everyone else in that part, that we start considering, you know, going the legal route? You know, getting somebody to legally look at the fine print before we sign on the dotted line and commit to these things. I think especially with legal contracts that are cross-border, you know, because the legalities in South Africa, for example, can be different to the legalities in Turkey.
Yeah, that is, and obviously what the internet did is that it took the job away from, you know, the few select. And at some point, you know, I come from the background of radio, so usually this was vetted before I even got the, you know, the piece of paper, before we even got the ad, before we had any talking points. So we had a marketing manager, we had programming. So you have this chain of command that's ensuring that whatever we're taking on is safe and already aligns to the program that we're trying to broadcast. So now fast forward, we're sitting with, you know, a group of young creatives that don't have that, you know, middleman. And so what it's done is that now there's no legal process. And we're also somewhat asking them a lot to say, hey, check, double check, you know, all that kind of stuff. And so I think it is going to have to go there in the same sense that, social media was once social media, but now it's taking over traditional media as the actual main source. A lot of us are finding out information on social media before it goes to the news outlets. So I think what it's going to create is a new type of content creator that is running as a production company, and therefore they would have to, find a team that is dealing with these various components, and you can't just go into these contracts,
Yeah.
especially when it's like big figure deals. I think that in itself should flag you and say, hey, this isn't something that I should be stepping into alone, and therefore I should have a legal team, and maybe perhaps there'll be an easier system that can allow us to also vet those that are trying to reach out for opportunity. But I mean, that's a tough process because people are reaching out to you via DMs,
Yeah.
and it sometimes it's also where do we call, where do we draw the line between me just reaching out to a friend and say, hey, I want to work on this opportunity with you, and we could take just another day as a content creator collaborating, and then there's now implications that are involved in that. So we also don't want to like scrutinize it to a point where now the thing feels rigid, because the internet was about freedom, but that freedom can also come at a cost.
Currently in conversation with the founder of Stagnot Media, Phemelo Mmoipolai, about the risks associated with working with international brands as a content creator. We'll continue the conversation right after this.
This September, Channel Africa celebrates Heritage Month, a time to honor the stories, the rhythms, and the languages that make us who we are. Whether you're in Lagos or the shores of Zanzibar, to the mountains of Lesotho or the markets of Dakar, we are united in diversity.
Najivunia kuwa Mwafrika.
Kukondolera Afrika ndiye wake.
Proudly African and fabulous.
Let us preserve our languages. Let's embrace our uniqueness. Let's embrace our cultures and celebrate the beauty of our continent. Channel Africa, the African perspective. If it's news and current affairs, leading opinions, and thought leaders that get your groove, this is your home, The Upside.
Well, let's continue our conversation about the risks associated with international brands, working with international brands as a content creator. What are the red flags you need to look out for to protect yourself? We're currently in conversation with Phemelo Mmoipolai, founder of Stagnot Media. Phemelo, let's give some practical steps to young content creators who've just stepped into this space. Maybe they've just started getting those numbers. They got their first 10,000 followers. And now the international brands are paying attention to them and sliding into their DMs. Where do they go from there? Maybe at the time they're still small. They don't have representation. They don't know where to go to. What are the practical steps that they can take today? They just received an email from an international brand and they're not sure whether this is a real thing or not, and whether they should be taking it on at this current stage.
I can start with what usually is a good place to start. As far as like the account holder, I think that's very important. Usually PR account holders will have, a designated email domain. I think that's like a very important starting place. So want to look out for things like that. Just understanding the IP. Usually if it's a Gmail, that becomes, one of the most difficult, or rather not difficult, but that becomes one of like your biggest red flag. I mean, on a daily, I do get emails myself from a Gmail account, and I'm like, okay, cool. Before I just rule it out completely, I'll do my check, my cross-reference. I go on to LinkedIn, I try and validate that specific person. And usually with these kind of accounts that you will have a specific account lead. So just thoroughly check your, the salutations, the emails, like little things like spacing. Like, I don't think we underestimate, like communication. And often when things feel very scammy, it's missing letterheads, it's missing, the formality of because this is happening on a fly. You can create a free Gmail account, you can get a number today and then drop it the next day. So I think that cross-referencing becomes the first step of just like checking, essentially. And then from that, like for instance, CapCut recently announced that certain content could belong to them. So we don't read our T's and C's. And I think that just goes to like, the education that needs to also start happening and accountability that each creator now needs to have and possess to say, okay, cool, this contract that I'm reading, what does it entail outside of the money? What is the liability that comes with that? And of course, we're not saying that everyone now needs to be a legal expert, but if you have a manager, especially when you're starting to pick up some traction, send that to your manager, or what we all now have is ChatGPT. Throw that in there, find out what it means, because now you might even be giving away your contact, you might have been giving away your intellectual property in that sense, and you'll be also implicating certain people that are also involved in whatever course that's being taken. So I don't know if that's enough detail, or is there anything else that I can,
No, I'd like to expand on that by just because it's just starting to sound. I'm listening to you speaking, and it's overwhelming. Because isn't like content creation just becoming a miniature engineering space to navigate? It's becoming tougher and tougher. And I think perhaps that's why Stagnot exists. Because I'm just looking at your service offering online through the agency. There's media consultation services, there's content creation services, PR management, campaign management, all the things that we need to really navigate spaces safely and legally. Because that's become the thing now. It's become so toxic that we've really got to protect ourselves. So in extension to the tips that you've given very quickly, Pamela, just tell us about how going through an agency like Stagnot, if I'm a content creator, or if I am an international business and I want to make it onto the African continent, how your service can assist.
I mean, I think first and foremost, the consultation, I think that just allows people to understand the implications, what's been required, because you also have to deliver. And I think that's one thing that can also get us into trouble, is you not delivering, not upholding your part of the agreement. And there always has to be a consensus between these two parties that are coming into agreement. Now, there's also going to be certain elements, and I can also speak on this, being someone that's coming from the music industry and understanding that text laws are very different. So you have to also be in somewhat alignment to, what works that side, vice versa. Otherwise, you're going to be cut out of, let's say, the budget, and not to say that you'll be robbed, but I mean, you might think that, okay, I'm supposed to be getting, I don't know, 20,000, and you get in, let's say, a measly 7, and you're like, okay, cool, what happened? And it just becomes, you just got taxed, and it's a different law system. So I think educating ourselves around these new conversations, because they're also new conversations, us as content creators, us as, agencies, is to say, hey, let's open up a little bit of a forum. Let's have a conversation. Let's get together. Let's discuss the new hiccups, the new hurdles that we're all being challenged by. Understanding the brand representation that each person has to now uphold, understanding the content standards, and also this is something that I learned when I got to Cape Town from Johannesburg. Coming from a media place where everyone wants to be in front of the camera, and it's just a second nature to just shoot content. Where I get to Cape Town and you start working with a lot of NPOs, and not everyone is comfortable with being in front of the camera. And now you're dealing with things like the Poppy Act. And so now you can put yourself in a position where you get sued. So it's so many new conversations and topics, because unfortunately, and maybe fortunately, the celebrity was once the goalpost for advertising and sponsorship and all that kind of stuff. Now, over time, people are gravitating towards what's relatable, and that was then the birth of the influencer.
Right.
So now the influencer has the responsibility to do more. Yeah.
Totally. Thank you so much. Unfortunately, we have run out of time. We've got to take sports now. But I think for anyone perhaps that really wants to do this properly, I would encourage you to just visit stagnot.co.za, because you get a sense of what you actually need. Sometimes we don't know we need these services until they present it to us. So go on Stagnot, with the NOT at the end, and there's no Gmail accounts there. Okay, it's all legitimate. There's a phone number. They've got social media handles, so you can vet them. All white, legitimate company, and we were just in conversation.
And you're dealing with me.
And we're dealing with the guy himself.
And yes, I'm legit. Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Well, thank you so much, and appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Pamelo Muipulai, joining us in his capacity as the founder and director of Stagnot. Let's go straight to the news bulletin, or sports news bulletin, as it were, with Fikile Ngwati.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African perspective.
We will serve off with tennis news. The Davis Cup Group 2 tie draw between South Africa and Morocco has been conducted at the Garden Court Hotel in Pretoria, the country's capital. In the singles, Alec Beckley of South Africa will battle it out with Yassine Glimi of Morocco in the first match on Saturday, while Mark van der Merwe clashes with Taha Badi in the second contest. South African captain Piet Noval speaks about his team's preparation.
The preparation for this tie was always going to be different because the players were coming directly off the tour, having played in different parts of it, which basically meant my approach towards the preparation was significantly different. We came together a day earlier. I got the permission from Tennis South Africa to do that, seeing that I felt that the preparation on the court needed to be better for that reason. And we did that, and it's been an amazing 5-6 days getting ready for this tie.
In the doubles match on Sunday, South Africa's Alec Beckley and Tandolongwe Smith will confront Moroccan duo of Yassine Glimi and Younes Lalami Larousi. Moroccan captain Hisham Arazi says they are well prepared.
Great experience for the moment, and we well prepared since a couple of months. We preparing this competition, this Davis Cup. So. We're ready. We're so exciting, to play the matches tomorrow, to start tomorrow. First match at 10:30. So nice weather. What we can ask more, is just everything is great.
On to athletics. The head of Japan's Athletics Federation, Yuko Arimori, says the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo starting on Saturday can wipe away the painful memory of empty stands at the Olympics 4 years ago. The Tokyo Games, delayed a year to 2021 because of the pandemic, were held in strict conditions to prevent the spread of the virus, with fans shut out of most venues and athletes forced to undergo tests and social distancing. World Championships will have no such restrictions, and thousands of fans are expected to flock to Tokyo's National Stadium, which seats almost 70,000. Arimori says she hoped the competition would remind people of the value of the sport. Let's end with football news now. Sudan football side Al Hilal is expected to face the Rwandan Army team in the Council for East and Central African Football Association Sikafa Club Championship on the 12th of September at the Dar es Salaam Stadium. Al Hilal has qualified for the semi-finals of the Sikafa Club Championship after defeating South Sudan's Kator Juba 3-1 in Tanzania, the host country of the tournament. For any sports stories you'd like to share with us, please send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +2711 714 4459. This is Channel Africa Sport with me, Fikile Ngwati.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African perspective.
África. Conhece o Ntivani?
Claro que sou eu.
Ntivani é o amante da música de corpo e alma.
Eu amo música africana.
Ele aprecia todos os tipos de melodias e passa os seus dias a ouvir a Channel Africa. Adivinha só, a Channel Africa quer ajudar o Ntivani e os amantes da música em todo o lado a descobrir ainda mais música incrível. Por isso, a Channel Africa está a convocar artistas africanos a submeterem as suas músicas. Músicos, Lembrem-se de nos dar todas as informações relevantes no music@channelafrica.co.za. As submissões são a vossa oportunidade de ser ouvidos, mas não garantem inclusão na lista. Todas as submissões serão cuidadosamente analisadas para verificar se cumprem os requisitos da nossa estação. Canal África, a perspectiva africana.
This is The Upside for the best African vibes, groundbreaking content.
All right, let's get the final business news this afternoon on The Upside. Nosipo Zuma is standing by.
Business news on Channel Africa. The African perspective.
Thank you, Tebogo. Good afternoon. In your business news this hour, Nigeria is positioning itself to attract greater investment in its tourism sector. Speaking at the G20 Tourism Ministers Summit in the Mpumalanga province, Acting High Commissioner to South Africa Ambassador Timodopi Alexander Ajayi said the government has streamlined processes to make it easier for investors to enter the market. He added that Nigeria is working with the World Tourism Organization to promote the country's rich tourism potential and develop its many sites to boost the industry.
Within the World Tourism Organization, Nigeria is actually, working so hard within that organization to see that we increase our potential, promote what we have in our country, and also get a lot of people in terms of investment in our tourism area.
Meanwhile, the French ambassador to South Africa, David Maintenon, emphasized the need for the industry to prioritize sustainability and contribute to decarbonization. He also highlighted Africa's potential as a global tourism destination, noting that improved air connectivity is crucial to unlocking the continent's travel opportunities.
We do want to make sure that the tourism sector and industry put an emphasis on sustainability, and because we believe that the industry has to take its own part in the decarbonization process.
South Africa's Department of Higher Education has welcomed the withdrawal of the National Credit Act amendment regulations. The Trade, Industry and Competition Department withdrew the draft regulations, which would have led to potential blacklisting of people with student debt. The decision follows an overwhelming public response, including more than 20,000 submissions. The majority of the responses were opposed to the regulations. The higher education spokesperson, Mmatsheko, says Minister Budi Manamela will engage with Trade, Industry and Competition Minister Pakstau to find a way forward.
We remained mindful of potential unintended consequences for young people, particularly Black students. The minister thanked the many citizens, particular student and youth organizations, who made submissions on the gazetted regulations, raising critical concerns about the regulations. The minister will also engage with the Minister of Trade and Industry and Competition and his team on a collaborative way forward.
South Africa's Auditor General, Tsakani Maluleke, says her office wants certainty when it comes to the calculation of audit fees. She was addressing the Standing Committee on the Auditor General today. Her office's ability to collect debt from various entities like municipalities and state-owned enterprises was on today's agenda, with National Treasury unpacking challenges the AG faces in collecting debt. Maluleke also weighed in on the issue of audit costs, which some entities say they are struggling to pay.
Audit fees, as Mr. Khan says, are engaged upon with auditees, and they are determined based on the risk profile, the audit program, the matters that we have to cover in terms of the audit directive, the provisions of Section 20 on financial statements, performance information and compliance, and then they are also determined by the readiness of the auditee that we engaged with. Over time, this area of audit fee affordability has enjoyed a lot of attention from Team HSA and will certainly be available to provide that feedback.
And finally, the European Commission is set to bring forward a review of its 2035 CO2 emission targets To the end of this year from 2026, the EU has set a target of 100% reduction of CO2 emissions for new cars and vans by 2035, which auto sector groups says is no longer feasible. The target has been taken to mean the end of the internal combustion engine in new vehicles. Your financial indicators: $1 in Nigeria is trading at 1,000 naira 506, and Botswana it's 13 pula 26. Kenya, the dollar is trading at 128 shilling 39, and in Zambia it's 24 kwacha 08. The BRICS countries: $1 in Brazil is trading at 5 real 40. Russia is 84 rubles 33. India is 84 rupees 68. China at 7 yuan 12, and South Africa $1 is trading at 17 rand 45. $1 is trading at 74 pence to the British pound and 85 to the euro. Looking at commodities, gold is trading at $3,626 and platinum at $1,378 per ounce. The price of Brent crude oil is at $67.20 a barrel. Now, for any business news stories you would like to share with us, please send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +27 11 714 4459. For Channel Africa Business, I'm Mosito Zuma.
Business news on Channel Africa. The African perspective. Zochitika ndi madaphiri kamlondola wa zochitika pena paliponse.
Vuto lakusowa kwa simenti likupitirira ku Malawi ngakhale kuti boma linapanga mgwirizano ndi makampani ena aku Zambia kuti azibweretsa mdziko lo simenti. Nduna ya zamalonda Vitumbuko Mumba yadzudzula makampani ena kuti akubisa simenti ngakhale kuti boma likumawapatsa ndalama yakunja kuti akagule kunja ndi kubweretsa simenti ku Malawi. Ndipo George Muhango tili naye pa line apa kuti atifotokozere zambiri. George, bwanji komanso vuto la simenti linamba liti?
Inetu ndili bwino, ndipo vuto la simenti ku Malawi kuno linayamba miezi itatu yapitayi. Sakupezeka mu mashop amene amagulisiramo komanso kuti makampani amene akupanga simenti amene akupanga ochepa kwambiri, monga modza kunena kuti ndalama yakunja kuti ayitanise katundu amene amathandizira kuti apange simenti amene ikusoweka.
Zochitika ndi madaphiri lolemba mpaka lachisanu pa nthawi ya 7 koloko kufikira 8 koloko madzulo pa Channel Africa. No matter where you are, Channel Africa is always with you.
It's 43 minutes after 3 p.m. Central African time, and it's time now for our DJ mix. Where are we going today in terms of the mix? Do you know?
We are going which I believe its roots were born in KwaZulu-Natal in South Africa. Of course, and many of these sort of newer, dance movements and genres were actually inspired by the OGs of Kwaito. So then kind of was birthed and inspired by that, by that movement of the 90s, and it was really big. Like six years ago or so, before Amapiano became a thing. Yeah. But listen, we're going to take you places, okay? If you've never heard of Gqom before, we're going to take you there, and you might just love it so much, you may not want to come back.
A change of pace. Enjoy our DJ mix this afternoon on The Upside.
The Upside. On The Upside, your voice matters.
Minutes before 4 p.m. Central African time. What do you think of that mix? Out of 10, every single Friday we ask. Out of 10, out of 10, out of 10.
No,
give it a score.
I wouldn't want to rate this one, although I will say if you're in the mood to leave this current dimension and go to another, this is the medicine for you.
You don't want to rank it. Give it a score.
I don't want to rate this one.
Out of 10. All right, Gold Max there.
Are you not going to?
Out of
it's
10.
Your turn to rate Kalogu this
so the thing is, personally, me and Gqom music are not the biggest. You know what Gqom needs? Gqom needs, it takes you, hypnotizes you. It needs you to be in a lubricated state of being. Right, and enjoy life around you. There must be smoke somewhere around you when you're listening to Gqom. And it's not for me.
Our producer was dancing.
She's been dancing like from start to
there was no smoke. There's no alcohol.
She was having a good time. But that's where it takes me when I hear
She's
Gqom.
just an earth angel having a good time.
That's just where it takes me. So out of 10, because of that, give it a 9 out of 10.
Okay.
Tamingubeni, good afternoon. How are you doing?
A very good afternoon to you. Having a splendid Friday. And I'm just wondering, maybe she's just thinking back to
a specific moment.
Exactly. And so maybe in her mind's eye there is smoke and all of that other paraphernalia that is needed in order to elicit that reaction.
It's possible. Yeah, for me, I'm good. Queen of African business, what's coming up?
Malawi is having their general elections very soon on the 16th of September. And, the country's really been under stringent economic pressures with a shortage of foreign exchange, a decline in exports, a loss of investor confidence. So it's a really important election, for the country. We'll be speaking this afternoon to the Don Consultancy Group, Chifipa Mhango, regarding all of the elements that are at play. What type of leader does Malawi really need? And quite interestingly, this will be the second election under the new voting system, which is the 50+1. And so we'll also talk about the various contenders there from the different political parties, being the DPP, the PP, etc. And also we'll be looking at the G20 Tourism Ministers meeting in Mpumalanga that's coming to a close, and we'll find out about some of the key outtakes from that. We'll be joined by the Director of Market Intelligence and Competitiveness at UN Tourism.
All right. I know Nombuyiselo Tango is down there. She's having a good time sending us videos, sabawelling, what they're doing down there in Mpumalanga. But African Business is coming up next with the Queen of Africa in Business, Tami Ngubeni. From us, the Upsiders, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll do this again next week. Enjoy the weekend. Goodbye, Africa.
Bye.